Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your comedian for the evening, Justin Matson!
I've finally accepted that no matter how hard I try, I'm just never gonna be good enough for my dentist. I brush my teeth. I floss, I Listerine, I gargle. I went to the dentist confident, thinking, I'm gonna knock this out of the park, The first thing the dentist said to me, you need to go to the gym more. I was like, what? Are my teeth fat? This isn't a rap battle. You can't say whatever you want about my body. I have gained some weight. I'm working on it. You ever call an ambulance to take you to the gym? Yeah, it's an emergency. I should have called you 8 months ago. The paramedics wheel me in. We need 12 cc's of Gatorade and a tiny towel. Stat. Get this man on an elliptical. I wasn't always fat. In the past, I've actually struggled with anorexia. Obviously, I won that battle. It's true, no matter how thin I got, my friends would try to assure me, Justin, you're so thin and attractive. I don't know, when I'm at home alone in my room at night and I look in the mirror, I just see a fat man in women's panties. It's a mental thing. I mean, you're thinking, Justin, you're too hard on yourself. You're like a medium fat. Thank you, I love you. I called the show Fatter Than You Think because even at my thinnest, I'm fat. And I'm actually fatter than you think. It's weird, I don't get it. How fat am I?
I think you are medium fat. That's pretty good.
Thank you, but I'm actually fatter. Thank you. How fat am I? Do you think?
I think you're normal fat.
Oh, that's okay. But in reality, I'm actually fatter. Thank you. But good try. I love the energy. How fat do you think?
The perfect amount.
Oh, thank you. Okay, you're all wrong. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm fat. That's the show. Here's the thing. I deal with things that skinny people shouldn't have to deal with, and I deal with situations that only someone who's much fatter than I should have to be put in. I identify as a fat person, my whole life. If there's a checklist for the fat experience, I've done it all. Have I ever caused mayhem at a turnstile? Check. Do my floor mats smell like curly fries? Check. Have I ever sat on a dog and the dog didn't talk to me for 14 years? Check. I sat on a dog. I didn't mean to. I sat on a chair, and it was a lawn chair. My dog was underneath it. And you know how gravity in my ass just kind of... And so I sit, and the dog goes, hi. And then for 14 years, he wouldn't come near me. He never forgot. He was like Hachiko, that dog in Japan, who comes back to the station to see his master every day. So he came back to the lawn chair and he saw his master's ass and said, nope, not falling for that again. When I started writing the show, I was 300 pounds, which for an American is petite. And I'm worried about my health. You ever see that movie, Final Destination? It's a horror movie, and at the end of the movie, the guy looks in the mirror and he sees a bus. And then he turns, and there's no bus. So it's a premonition. He's like, oh no, I'm gonna die. I have that with my body. Because I look in the mirror and I see myself having a heart attack at 40, and then I turn and I see Cheeto dust on my titties. I'm like, yeah, it's a premonition. Got 4 more movies, then I'm done. These things happen to me all the time. The arc of this show is that I've been kicked off 3 roller coasters in my life for being too fat. Yeah, 3 different roller coasters, 3 different times. The first time I was in high school, I was in marching band. I played the clarinet. And that's not the joke, but it's basically a joke, yeah. And we went on a school field trip to Disneyland. We went on Space Mountain. And that's the one where you go inside, it's pitch black, and you ride a roller coaster through space. Super fun. So my friends and I, we run up, we get in the cart, and the cart takes off. And you know how roller coasters go like click, click, click? This one didn't. This roller coaster went click, click, click. And it got stuck. And when you get stuck on a roller coaster, a lot goes through your mind. It's scary. I was like, oh no, am I gonna die? And the second thought, like, what's the food situation? And then all of a sudden, all the lights come on. And when all the lights come on Space Mountain, it's just a warehouse. It's like a space Costco, you know? There's like aliens giving out free samples in the corner. And a carny, I think that's what they're called, a 14-year-old roller coaster engineer. He says, hey, some of y'all gotta get out. The cart weighs too much. I'm like, the cart weighs too much? It's a roller coaster. The whole point of a roller coaster is that scientists did math. They built a machine that lifts thousands of tons of metal, like a train, into the air. It does somersaults and backflips, and then I get in and it breaks. He's like, yeah, some of y'all gotta get out. The cart weighs too much. And I think, well, who has to get out? And I look at the other people in the cart. It's like skinny person, me, 8-year-old girl. I bet it's her. They're gonna kick her off the ride. And it's like skinny person, fat guy. I'm not the fattest one in the cart. To this day, that's my greatest accomplishment. Like, when you're not the fattest person in the room, you can kind of like hide in the shadows, lay low, you know, you're not in the spotlight. And I'm not proud of this, but you can throw them under the bus at any time. It's like, yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be enough turkey because Carl's here. I mean, I don't even eat food, not like Carl at least. No, the carny, he comes up and he looks at me and he points. He says, you, get out. And he points at another fat person and another fat person. And he ushers the 3 fat people off the ride. The skinny people get to stay in the cart. They're just staring, like judging with their skinny little eyes. And he marches us down the platform. It's no longer the happiest place on earth. All right, it's like Shame Mountain. He's ringing a bell. Fat people, come on through. Ding, ding. And all my skinny friends are laughing their asses off. This is like the funniest thing they've ever seen. It was such like a sad moment. Like I was always the fat kid growing up, and I kind of accepted it, you know, like it bothered me, but it wasn't that big of a deal. This was the first time that being fat was gonna prevent me from doing normal activities I didn't expect to not be able to do. And so, like, am I not gonna be able to ride roller coasters anymore? And so that was the first time I decided to get thin. I was like, I don't wanna deal with this. And so I did, I started to lose weight. I did everything. I started with exercise. I got kicked out of a spin class for not paying attention. It's a stationary bike. I didn't turn the wrong way at the imaginary intersection, you know? I went into spin class on Wednesdays because my favorite instructor, Heather, she was really easygoing, carefree, pregnant. And we'd go in, we'd pedal for 45 minutes. It was easy. And so it's a Wednesday. I go in, I sit in the front row because I'm her favorite. And I find out she's not going to lead the class today. And her sub is more of a dom. He's really intense. He's like, in this class, we work our core. You know, we go up for 2 counts, down for 2 counts, right, left, do push-ups. And like, what? Like, how do you do push-ups on a bike? Like, and he gets angry at me. He's like, hey, if you're not gonna do the exercises, get out. And I'm like, I'm doing it's 6 a.m., give me a break. I'm doing them poorly, but I'm trying. He's like, no, you're not even doing it. Just get out. I was like, okay. And I look around the other people, and they're like, they don't want to make eye contact. They're like, we stood up for Carl last week, and he's still mad at us. I don't know. And so I get off the bike. I'm sore and sweaty. And I waddle over to the sanitizer. And I wipe down the bike for Heather. And I think, okay, maybe it's been a while. Maybe he's calmed down. And so I look. No, he's still scowling at me. And so, okay. And so I start to leave. And it's super awkward. Like, everyone's, like, biking on eggshells, you know? And they're like, should we say something? He's a member. He literally paid to be here. If we don't say anything, this is how the Holocaust started. But no one stood up for me. No one challenged authority. And so I walk out the glass doors. I look back. He's still scowling. I'm like, yep, that's happening. So I left. And since that day, I'm fat. That was the day. I blame him. I tried to exercise. He literally wouldn't let me. But I didn't give up, you know. I once ran a 19-minute mile, which is impressive because I can walk a 17. I took a Thai kickboxing class because I'm an idiot. And I thought it'd be good cardio. You know, it's a full body workout. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted to, like, get my heart rate up. And that's how you do that, right? Ugh. And so I go, and the first 8 weeks are really good. I'm enjoying it. I'm getting exercise. And then I missed a week. And then I came back, and it was the final. I didn't know there was going to be a final. It's a gym class. But the final was when we sparred. And no one showed up except me and a murderer. Like a Thai street-kicking assassin. He gets up at 4 a.m. every day and he kicks bamboo sticks, you know, with my face etched into him and a little X, because that's where his foot goes, you know? And I'm like, what's that? And the coach is like, hey, just remember what I taught you, you know, it's all in the hips. It's on the hip. And then he's like, go. And I'm like, go where? And next thing I know, I'm getting kicked in the face. And I'm trying to remember, it's like a hurricane of feet. And I'm trying to remember. And I know, okay, I should kick, right? That's the name of the class, is like kick. And then I lift my foot, and he's like ninja roundhouse sweep kicks me. And I try to Suzanne Summers my way out of the fight. And then the coach stops. He's like, hey, stop. I said, oh, good, I won. And then I'll never forget what the coach said. He said, you ready for round 2? I was like, he still believes in me. He thinks I have a chance. And that's when it hit me. His foot hit me. And he knocked a tooth loose. It didn't fall out, but it was loose. Like, I couldn't eat solids for 6 weeks. and I lost a lot of weight. So my plan worked. My big plan to take, beginner Thai kickboxing for the busy career woman really did wonders. I recommend it. Watch out, criminals, I got a yellow belt. Can't wear it, too small. I tried dieting too. I was a vegetarian for a while, and I thought it'd be healthy, but I actually gained weight as a vegetarian. Because donuts don't have meat. I eat donuts every day. I saved so many animals, but I killed my thighs, I saw a nutritionist. She was skinny. I don't like skinny nutritionists because they don't get it. They haven't been in the war. They have no life experience, I'm trying to relate and share how hungry I get. And she was like, I was hungry once. We were going through a rough divorce. I get hungry every day. Oh, have you tried drinking water? Slowly. Makes you feel full. I read that in a BuzzFeed listicle. I don't think that works. Hey, you gotta have snacks. You ever put 4 almonds in a Ziploc bag? And take them to the beach? And bury them in the sand, don't tell anyone? 4 almonds? I would kill everyone at the beach. I have hunger nightmares, I wake up in the middle of the night I'm hungry, the curtains are drawn, there's crumbs everywhere. I don't remember what happened, but the maid's dead. I want a fat nutritionist, Someone who's 800 pounds who gets it. He's been in the war a few times, got some scars and some stories. Someone who's hey, you're trying to lose weight. Good luck. Here's what you do. 1, you gotta move. Exercise? No, get out of LA, move. Food's too good. You gotta lock up that fridge, get a deadbolt, bury the key in the backyard, give the shovel to a neighbor, say, hey, if I try to get in this fridge, you take this shovel, you hit me in the head with it. Do that 3 to 4 years, you lose 10 pounds. You'll gain it back, but we're fighting the devil here. How'd you bring payment? It's like a bucket of chicken. Just put it in the shed, cheat days on Tuesday. I want that nutritionist. She sounds mean, but she's actually very relatable. I thought maybe it's a mental thing, and to be more positive, more loving of my body. So I started doing affirmations. So every morning I get up and I look in the mirror and I tell myself, I'm the CEO of my body. But I'm projecting 200% growth this quarter. I'm a good CEO. I live in a tiny Hollywood apartment, so every week I have to declutter. I'm removing all the broken dreams off my vision board. I was driving in Hollywood, and I got stopped at a breathalyzer checkpoint. I was so nervous. They said my BMI was over the city limit. I gotta move. And I think it's about time we get real. Gay, real gay. Coming out, not gonna hide it. Flamin' boas, same-sex rainbows, glitter, glitter in your face. I have to, I don't want to. Most of my jokes about everyday straight guy things. Things like football, mistreating women, diarrhea. It's okay. Hey bro, I've got some beers, let's drink them. That's my straight guy voice. I have to. This show isn't about me being gay, but I got a note from an agent who said I'm so flamboyant that if I don't start with gay jokes, it's distracting. It's what? I mean, no matter how good my jokes are, like all you hear when I talk is just like, gay, 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 gay. Like someone's really struggling to enjoy the show. They're like, Becky, is he gay? He sounds gay, but he's not talking about it. Maybe he doesn't know. Should we tell him? Should we tell him he's gay? He should have started with that. It's distracting. I just hear gay, gay, gay. I get so mad because, like, really, I'm only gay between the hours of trying to get laid and, forget it. It's like 4 minutes. I don't try that hard, you know. If you want to get technical, I'm bisexual. I prefer homosexually sexual. And no one believes me. It's fine. I get it. Like my straight friends think I'm gay, and my gay friends think I'm fat. And they get so angry too. It's like men or women. It's like no, like of course I'll still sleep with women. I just think I shouldn't have to pay as much. I get a discount. I'll come back. Do you validate? I don't know. It's so complicated. Like, what are the rules? Like, when's the right time to come out to your girlfriend? 3 dates, 6 months, once the kids go to college. That's the correct answer. Once the kids go to college. I feel like I'm playing with my parents' emotions. Because, it's like, Mom, Dad, I have to tell you something. I'm 73% gay. It's okay. Every leap year, we can still have a normal Thanksgiving. Yeah. It's okay. My mom's super proud of my brother, the engineer. So. I'm just having one of those decades. I am looking for a more permanent full-time day job, and job interviews are the worst. They're so monotonous. They ask really dumb questions at job interviews. Like, oh, hey, thanks for coming in. I got your resume. You got a college degree, great references. Do you know Microsoft Word? And I'm like, yeah, I know Microsoft Word. It's 2018. Like, computers have been around for 30 years. Am I competing against people who don't know Microsoft Word? And losing? And they're like, oh, do you know Photoshop? Are you good at Photoshop? I'm like, yeah, I know Photoshop. Did you see my centerfolds in Playboy? I was Miss July. Newsflash, those tits weren't real. I do a lot of temp work. The best thing about temping is you get to stare at photos of someone else's family all day and just dream. What it'd be like to have health benefits. Like, oh, they look so happy in the photo. And sometimes they treat you like a little kid when you're temping. They're like, oh, hey, thanks for coming in. Just sit in the chair, keep it warm. There's some pens and markers if you need to draw. Keep yourself busy. Oh, if the phone rings, just get an adult. Can you get? Okay, yeah, thanks. I started temping 8 years ago to get a foot in the door, and my foot is in the door, and the door is just slamming on my foot. I hated that job. You ever poop just to be alone? I had this old boss, I used to call her Salad Cindy, because every day she'd come in and she'd really let us know that she eats healthy, like overboard. She'd come in and she'd be like, hey, it's 12:15, so I'm just gonna grab my salad. You know me, I eat healthy, so just a salad, small side salad. I'll be real quick, okay. Hey, Steve, did you hear I'm eating a salad? Just a salad. I had 4 almonds earlier. So. I may not even eat it. I mean, legally I have to take a lunch break, but I might go jog or hike. Just a salad. Lettuce, carrots, maybe some celery, give it some crunch. Okay, I'll go be around. Just a salad. Sarah? I'm getting a salad. Do you want a salad? Oh, well, I eat healthy because I'm a good person, but do you want like a burger? Okay. I'm gonna go get my salad. You know me, I eat salad. She tried so hard. Made me think she was lying. I bet 10 minutes later, she's in her car, like, sobbing over double bacon cheeseburgers. And she, like, sees her reflection, like... It's not a salad. It's not a salad. It's not a salad! And, I think that joke's relatable. We've all cried in our car over fast food, right? We haven't? Oh, okay. Sometimes on my lunch break to de-stress, I like to take a nap. And I have a hatchback, so it's great because the back seats go up if you have a mountain bike and you want to go off-roading, or they go all the way down if you want to crawl in your trunk and just give up. Just kind of sleep through your 30s, you know. Sometimes Salad Cindy's crying in the car next to me, like, can you keep it down? I'm trying to sleep. I applied to be a flight attendant, and I didn't get it. I was so bummed. Like, I'd be a great flight attendant, you know, like, I smile a lot, I like serving people, like, I can almost fit down the aisles. Sir, could you move your seats that way? Do they? Okay, they don't, okay. And I got an interview. I was so excited. It was for a bilingual position because I speak Japanese on paper. And I wasn't lying. I thought I spoke Japanese. I studied it for 8 years. I lived in Japan. You know how you think you're fluent in a foreign language? And one day, like, something happens. Like, God forbid, you meet someone who speaks that language. And immediately it's like, I'm dumb. Well, I thought I was fluent, and they flew me to Texas to take this job interview, and it was going really well. Like, no one in the room spoke Japanese because it's Texas. And I don't know if you've seen a map, but Texas is racist. And so I'm like, okay, great, I might get this. And I practiced the words I might need to know, but it didn't seem necessary. Once I get the job, it'll be fine. But then they say, oh, now we're gonna do the language test. I'm like, the language test? Like, yeah, come right this way. And they put me on the phone with, I think he was a samurai. Like literally a 15th century feudal Japan. He spoke in riddles. Like, I couldn't understand a word he was saying. When I studied Japanese, like, all my teachers were female, and there's a big difference in Japanese between masculine and feminine. So I speak very feminine, like a higher tone, a polite, like a hajimemashite, Justin Matson, very, and he speaks very rough and low, like, oh, so desu ne. And so I'm trying to understand him, and I can't, and he asked me a question. I don't understand. So I asked him to repeat it. I'm like, sumimasen, mou ichido onegai shimasu. And he repeats the question, and I still don't understand. So I'm like, chotto, sumimasen, mou ichido onegai shimasu. And he repeats the question, and he repeats the question 8 times. His interview's not going well. I found out later he was asking if I liked to garden. Like, that wasn't the vocab I practiced, you know? No one's on the plane like, oh, stewardess, I got some rutabagas. do I water these every day? Or what's the humidity in first class? And so he's getting frustrated, and I'm trying to, and he can't understand a word I say, because every time I speak Japanese, he just hears, gay, 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 gay. Gay desu ka? You should have started with that. It's distracting. And so he's getting mad, and I'm trying, like, can you say something much? And he hangs up on me. And then I'm like, uh-oh. And the interviewer in the room's like, how's it going? You're almost done? And I'm like, yeah, just a second, wrapping up. And I talked to myself for 2 minutes. Partly in Japanese, partly in panic. And I'm trying to think of a plan. I'm like, okay, she doesn't know I didn't get the job yet, like until they talk, right? So I have a couple hours. If I start now, by the time we land in Kyoto, I'll have seniority and they can't fire me. And then no, it didn't work out. I didn't get the job. I was so bummed. Like, the second time I got kicked off a roller coaster, it was actually in Japan. That's called a narrative for you. I was studying abroad my senior year of college in Tokyo, and all my classes were in Japanese. I lived in a Japanese frat, and we spoke Japanese. We never talked about gardening. And we went to Fujiku, which is like a theme park outside Mount Fuji, and we went in a Japanese haunted house. And it was really cool. Everyone goes in, and they get in their own cart, and the carts are coffins, like vertical coffins that go by on a conveyor belt. So you walk up, and you Dracula, and you get in the cart, and it takes off. And I'm like, oh, cool, this is fun. Okay, great. So it's my turn. So I walk up, and I Dracula, and I don't fit in the cart. And it's like I'm like, oh, God. And immediately I'm like back in high school, like, oh, no, it's happening again. And I see an attendant and I want to say something, but I don't know how to say in Japanese, like, I'm too fat for your existence. I wasn't fat at that time. I was actually the thinnest I ever was. I was living in Japan. I was eating so healthy. And I was running every day because I was dealing with my sexuality. My way of dealing with it was just to, like, run, like who am I, you know? And so I was thin, but I was in Japan. And I picked the wrong time to be thin. Because if I were in America, I would be so thin. And I'd be like, yeah, you did it. High fives. Here's a key to the secret city. And no, I'm in Japan. And so, like, no matter how thin I get, I'm still, like, way bigger than anyone else. I'm too tall, and my hips are too wide, and the subway windows are here, and I gotta lean down to look out. Is that my stop? Or no? And I don't know what to do. And so I make a decision. I'm gonna fit in this coffin. Because if I can't fit in a coffin, what do I have to look forward to? So I crouch down, and I turn sideways, and I crack my neck, and I jam myself. I'm like halfway in, and it takes off. And then I'm worried. They say to always keep your hands and feet inside the cart at all times. They never mention love handles. Like, I don't want to hit a tombstone every 5 feet, like, ow, ow, ow. And, like, am I going to fall off this roller coaster? And so it takes off, and halfway through the ride, they have actors jump out to scare you. So there's a Japanese actress in a skeleton costume, and she creeps up, and she jumps out, and she's like, ah! And I see her, and I'm like, ugh! And then she sees me, and it's like, ah! And so I'm going, and the cart's going, and then at the end of the ride, the cart stops, and it turns. And we're watching a movie. It's like a drive-in theater. Like, all the coffins are lined up looking at a screen. And I realize there's air cannons inside the coffin that shoot little bursts of air throughout the movie. But I'm facing the wrong way. So every 3 seconds, a burst of air shoots into my eyes, like, ah, 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 and I'm like screaming, and a attendant sees me, and she, damn it, no, get, and she ushers me off the ride. And so I'm stumbling through this haunted house. It's dark. I can't see. I'm like trying to find the exits. I'm like hitting carts, and they're like, this ride's scary. And finally, I get out, and I make my way to the exit, and I sit on a bench, and wait for my skinny friends to get off the ride and tell me how fun it was. I think that was a turning point for me because it was just like, here I was thin. I did everything people wanted me to do, you know? And I still wasn't good enough. Like I was never gonna be the right body type. And I just kind of gave up at that point. Because like, why am I here starving myself and like dieting and exercising all the time if it doesn't make any difference? And so I started to gain it back at that point. Luckily, I moved back to New York, and once I was in America again, I was like, hey, you need to be a vegetarian, put some meat on those bones, have some donuts. I did a lot of poetry in New York to supplement my income, and it's great. In New York, there's so many good venues to do poetry. The trick is you have to wait for the train doors to lock shut. I did a lot of slam poetry. I love slam. It's like such a vibrant, expressive art form. So if you don't mind, I want to perform a slam poem that I wrote. Thank you. Okay. It's called Mother. Ow! Your words hurt me, Mother. Goddess of the womb. That sticky prison of my past. You see, but you don't see, Mother, 'cause racism. Ow! Your words like rain falling on my house. Pat, pat, pat. Why am I alone, Mother? It's some bullshit. Thank you so much. That's thank you. I feel like I could enter that in a contest and no one would know I was being sarcastic. There are a lot of great restaurants in New York, and I realize I do this thing at restaurants where I make a gesture to the waiter when I want the check. So I'm like, oh, can I get the check? I could do like an air signature, like the check. And I don't know why I do that. I can't stop. Like, not only do they not know how to do their job, but they can't hear the check. The check, yeah. And like, it doesn't, they could be right here. And I'm like, oh, can I get the check? I do it for other things too. I'll be like, can I get some chopsticks? The check and some chopsticks. And a doggy bag. The chopsticks, the check, and a doggy bag to go for my car. I don't know why. And I have to be careful, like some of the gestures they don't get. It's like, can I get a water? Do you want 2 waters to go for my car? You take that table. This next story is a true story. I call it the parable of the 2 dead squirrels. No one believes me, but it happened. 10 years ago, I was driving in Hollywood, and I saw 2 squirrels on the side of the road. One of them was dead. And the second squirrel was freaking out. He was like making like squirrel, like, and he'd run to the side of the road, like, and he was so emotional. I was like, oh my God, that squirrel. And like, some people don't believe that animals have human emotions, but like, if you saw this squirrel, he was freaking, like, he didn't know. And it was so vivid, I remember it to this day. And then earlier this year, 10 years later, I was driving in Hollywood on a different road. And again, I saw 2 squirrels on the side of the road. One of them was dead. But this time the other squirrel wasn't freaking out. This squirrel was eating his friend. Yeah. No emotion, stone cold, the little squirrel entrails, just like, I didn't even know squirrels eat meat. He was going for it. And I was like, oh my God, is that the same squirrel from 10 years ago? Has that been in Hollywood? I think that's so symbolic of how Hollywood changes you. I should probably drink some water at some point. It's my favorite part of the show. I don't want to get political. Hot chocolate's too hot. It is. It's too... I ordered a hot chocolate, not a hot lava. I used to be able to drink it. Now I can't even hold the cup. Like they give you 2 cups and like a cardboard mitten around it so your skin doesn't melt off. I'm like, I'm gonna let it sit for 3 hours before I can sip it. I'm like, oh, it's too hot. I got a board meeting at noon. Carol, hold my calls. Yeah, hot chocolate again. No, we shouldn't have ordered hot chocolate on a Tuesday, but I had hunger nightmares. Also, the maid's dead. The third time I got kicked off a roller coaster was last year in October. I went to Knott's Berry Farm, which is like a cheaper Disneyland. And it's literally a berry farm. Like every roller coaster ends in an exotic jam stand where they sell jam. And for Halloween, they deck it out. They call it Knott's Scary Farm. And it's really cool. There's like costume and candles and ghouls. And there's people with chainsaws chasing you, like, buy my jam. Like, And I went with my skinny gay friend, Sean, who I knew from New York. And he knew me when I was thin, so I was like insecure, but he didn't say anything. It was great. And we went on a roller coaster. It's one of those hanging roller coasters where I sit down and I try to buckle my seatbelt. And it won't buckle. And I'm like, oh no, it's happening again. Okay, stay calm. Maybe I grabbed the wrong seatbelt, you know, and no, it's the right seatbelt. Okay. Okay, maybe if I just hold on real tight, because I'd rather die than deal with this right now. And then the carny, I think that's what the 14-year-old roller coaster engineer, is like, hey, someone's not buckled in. And I'm like, oh God, he knows. And I realized, like, oh, when you're fat, like your belly sticks out, and sometimes the seatbelt hides underneath it. So maybe he'll just think it's buckled if he can't see. And so I'm like, I got this. And he's like checking, okay. And he comes up and he sees and he's like, oh, sir, can you lift your fat? And so I lift my fat and it's not buckled. And he's like, here, let me try. Then the carny tries to buckle my seatbelt with an old carny trick, breaking ribs. And I'm like, and my skinny gay friend Sean's like, what's fat? I've never seen fat. I'm like, I'll tell you when you're older. And the other carny's like, what's going on over there? Like, he's too fat for the seatbelt. I'm like, like, he doesn't look that fat. He's fatter than you think. Like, That's the title of the show. And I said, like, no, don't forget it. I don't want to ride the ride. I'm afraid of heights. I forgot. I'm afraid of heights. So I get off the ride, and I'm on the wrong side of the platform. So I gotta walk backwards through the queue. It's like a 10-minute walk just to think about what I did. I walk in and people are coming towards me in costumes like a vampire and cheerleader and werewolf. And they're like, is the ride broken? I'm like, no, I'm just too fat for your existence. and I go and I sit on a bench outside the exit, eating my exotic jam. And I think about all the things I miss out on from being fat, or mostly insecure. You know, like I don't ride roller coasters anymore, and I don't swim because I don't want to take my shirt off. I haven't taken my shirt off since 1990. It was a hot day when I was 5. And I don't dance because I'm afraid the jiggling will never stop. I can't ride roller coasters, and I can't sit on lawn chairs because I might kill a dog. I can't fit in coffins, and no matter what I do, there's this constant anxiety and stress, and like, am I gonna be able to sit on this chair, or is it IKEA? I don't know. We're playing with our lives here. And I'm just tired of it, you know? And I feel like I'm ready to I wanna lose weight, and I wanna get healthy, but I just don't wanna deal with it anymore, you know? I wanna start living life. They say life is like a roller coaster. And it is. I'm not even on the ride. So I'm slowly getting there. I'm taking my time. I'm trying to enjoy life now as I work my way to getting healthy. I started exercising again. I got a Fitbit, and I was reaching for a cupcake, and I stepped, and when I grabbed the cupcake, it beeped. I hit my daily step count. If I knew there was a cupcake at the end of this walk, I would have done it 10 years ago. They should put that on the box. I did this show in Scotland over the summer, and in Edinburgh, there's a really big mountain called Arthur's Seat, and it's a very touristy thing to do, to climb it. It's beautiful views. And while I was there, I didn't want to miss out. I wanted to climb Arthur's Seat, and I was nervous, but I did it. I took my time. I drank a lot of water. I went with some friends, and I walked up, and after a couple hours, I reached the top. And I was so excited, and I asked the guy, hey, can you take a photo? I want to show everyone I climbed Arthur's Seat. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, that's Arthur's Seat. I climbed the wrong mountain. It's more of a hill, actually. I'm not climbing that, you know? Just Photoshop it. I'm done with this town. I tried to exercise. This guy wouldn't let me. I got married recently in March. Thank you. I got gay married in Australia. And we got married on Hamilton Island, which is a tiny island in the Great Barrier Reef. And we were the first gay couple to ever get married there. And everyone on the island was super excited. More than we were. Because they realized if we can turn this into a gay wedding destination, we can make so much money. So everyone was trying to impress us. They're like, the gays are coming, put out the good china, they're judgy, you know? Tour buses were screeching to a halt, taking photos. And I realized gay weddings are still new, and a lot of the traditions are confusing, who pays for what, and what do you wear, and am I supposed to dance with my husband's dad? Every time I see my husband's dad, I feel like I have to shake his hand and give business cards, you know? Anything to distract him from all the terrible things I do to his son. And I realized 20 years from now, people are gonna look back at our wedding as the standard for gay marriage. And they're gonna be no, it's customary to have mustard stains on your coattails. I saw it. Yeah, and no one pays for anything, but they all have opinions. Yeah, and there's a second secret cake that one of the grooms shame eats at night. Yeah. And we tried to take photos, and the photographer wanted to take an embrace photo on a mountainside where we like hug. And she didn't know who should stand in the back. And so she thought, I need to find out who the top is. And she didn't want to ask that because that's rude. So she did some detective work. And she was like, hey, if you're at a restaurant and one of you orders appetizers, but the other one's in the bathroom, but like who takes charge and orders the appetizers because they're the more dominant one? Like what? No, I mean, like if you're in prison and you want to break out of prison, so one of you has to sacrifice yourself, but who, because they're the more giving, well, who would be the one who would... No, I just mean like if there's a pickle jar and you can't open the pickle jar and one of you opens the pickle jar, but one of you uses the pickles, who would... What are you talking about? The tall person stands in the back. It's photography 101, you know? Tall person, short person. No one's looking at wedding photos like, this is wrong. It's back, it's not. It's like, yeah. The photos came out great, though. My father passed away like 8 years ago, and I read a poem at the eulogy. It was really heartfelt. It's like a haiku about like how much he meant to me. He was a great guy. And I want to perform some of the poem, just kind of reflection, if you don't mind. Okay. Ow! You're dead, Dad! It's some bullshit. No, I didn't. Don't do slam poetry at a funeral. No. I read a real poem. It was very touching. And I could tell it really affected people. Because there's a woman in the front row who, every time I talked, like, we had a moment. Because she turned to her friend and she said, Becky, is he gay? He sounds gay, but he's not talking about it. He should have started with that. It's distracting. The eulogy, it's just gay, gay, gay. He should have mentioned that. All right, thank you so much for coming out. That's my show. I'm Justin Matson. Thank
you. I'm the Venus for your Mars. I'm the healing for your scars. I'm the nighttime for your stars. You don't have to look so far. Watering the family tree, ever after happily. If the earth falls to the sea, in your arms is where I'll be. We already are, you and me, psychically in tune to the stars. We already are, you and me, psychically